Good morning, everybody. This is Real Talk from the Heart. I don't know. I just, I don't I really am just like the stuff that really comes to me. And I know it's like, it's normal for people to just keep hurting people. And it hurts me because I struggle. I struggle every day mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I've just learned how to give it all to God. I learned how last year how to trust God with my life, right? I believed in God, I believed in His word, but because people hurt me, I couldn't fully trust God. I couldn't. And I keep saying this because I don't know if there's somebody out here who needs to hear this, because this stuff is real. Like, seriously, I am like at this point in my life, right? I've done tried everything. When I tell you I didn't try everything, but I tried everything within my comfortability, right? And I put myself, because of people hurting me and for people doing stuff to me and saying stuff about me and, trying to hold things over my head or using my words as weapons when I was at my vulnerable state. When people said that they love me. And I felt like I was so comfortable with them. I felt like they were like, okay, they were my friend. They were my, everything, right? And they used my words against me. They used every word against me that I said, how I came clean with certain things when I was drinking, everything. And they used it as a weapon. And it made me feel like crap, like scum. Like, even though you may see this person who is trying to shine through everything that she's been through in her life. And you know what hurt the most? I trusted these people. I trusted them. Yeah. And I'm hurting because I'm allowed to hurt. I'm allowed to hurt because this is stuff that actually happened to me and my children. That's why I'm really adamant, and I'm like, in my heart, it will not happen on my watch. Like, you will not touch a kid on my watch. You will not disrespect a kid on my watch. I don't care, because you don't know what these kids are dealing with at home. You don't know if they're being touched. I'm like, I don't know what God is going. I don't know, but I don't know what is going on. But I've been praying. I really have. I've been praying. And as I learned certain things, because what happened was, right, because I worked in a communications store for 15 years, and the stuff that we had to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and me being a single mom and a teen mom at the time, and growing up trying to figure out me, dealing with my hurt, dealing with my pain, dealing with all this stuff that I had bottled up, and I didn't know how to get it out. But when I was drinking, it felt like I was so freaking free. I was so free, even though I was like, I know I shouldn't be doing this. This is killing me. I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know I shouldn't do this. But when I do it, I like the taste. I like it. It's a choice of mine. Like, I like how I feel. I can contain it. I can control it. I can do so much things with this thing. With this, I learned how to drink a certain amount, eat a certain amount, and I was good. There was days that I would get pissy drunk in the comfort of my own house and fall asleep. I fell asleep when I reached to limits that I could not handle. I would never ever allow anybody to see me at my lowest point, because it was like, I knew I was dealing with something bigger than what eyes can see. I was like, God, I don't know what's going on, but I started praying. I was like, God, I need you to take this thing away from me. I need you to take it, God. Take this thing away from me, because I know it is not good for me. Have you ever had to pray that God takes something away from you that you knew wasn't good for you, the people away from you that you knew that wasn't good? I'm thanking God for everything that has transpired in my life up until now. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it was painful. Yes, I had to go through some things. Yes, I had to make a decision because I never ever could make decisions when it pertained to me because I just felt like I was unworthy of this. I was unworthy of the choice because it was like everybody just did what they wanted to do anyway, and they talked anyway, they manipulated me anyway. Anything I did, they or said, they didn't even care about the words that were coming out of my mouth. They didn't care. They only cared about what I can really offer them. And I stand here today. I stand here. I'm so up. I know it's nobody but God. I know. I know because one side it's like I have the devil right here and I have the angel right here. I say, God, I've been trying to get myself together. Get myself together. And every time I come to a point where I'm like, okay, God is coming together, and it's coming together, then something is revealed to me, and I cried. I cried to my best friend like a baby. I cried because I'm like, and then she had to affirm in me, like, you remember what God said. This is just a test. You gotta have somebody who can speak into your life at your darkest moments in your life. Because sometimes when you go through some things and we have these people around us that are just people, they take the information and they go and they're busybodies. They just want to know what's going on with you, how they can fuck up mess up your life even more. And I'm sorry, God. But I'm like, God, it's like somebody back it like that, like this picture came up in my head. You up there, you with your friend, and you got all these knives being thrown in your back. See, this is the thing, right? I stand for mine. And I know I'm being tested. I know I have to give it to God. And I know I have to say, vengeance is mine, say the Lord. And I had to learn this because if it was months or I don't know, my mental, I was like, I forgive them. I really do. But you gonna give them a chance to heal. Like, you really are. Like, I'm like, God, then you name drop I'm like, what? Like, seriously, this stuff is real. Like, these kids are hurting. You don't know what is going on with these kids because they are being touched by people that we trust. People that say, oh, I love you and all this stuff. Like, I'm like, God, like, I don't have the patience for this stuff. Like, I know how it feels to be, a victim, but I never could make myself to be a victim because I wanted to be victorious in my situation. I couldn't imagine me hurting somebody like people hurt me. Like, seriously, I'm confessing this to God because look, the confession is bad for the reputation, but it is good for the soul. Like, if you need help, you should not be around children. Seriously, like, seriously. And this is like, I'm like, and I understand behaviors and all this. I can look at people and say something ain't right with them because something's going on with them. It is like confirmation to me that God is telling me, look, Shantae, I'm not telling you this to be like a judger or anything. I'm telling you this to pray. I'm praying for people who are hurting children and messing up their life. And then you want to turn around and talk about them and say how messed up they are and how this and how that. You have the audacity. You need to go get some help. Seriously, I'm tired of people sweeping this stuff under the freaking rug. Like, I'm tired of it. Seriously. And then it's, you know what blows my mind? The child who has to hold all of this in, and they like, I don't want to tear up the family. Fuck the family. Fuck people. Fuck all this extra shit. Y'all holding on to people who are hurting people? Like, no. I told mine, I said, look, I don't care. I don't care I don't care I'm sorry for cursing, but I don't care who they are. I don't care what title they have. I'm riding for mine. I'm standing for mine. Whatever I got to go through for mine, I'm going to go through it. And I'm just like, God, but I have to give it to you, because my test this week was, I have to trust God with everything that's in my life. Everything. Because I didn't trust him at all. I loved him. I worshiped him. I believed in him, but I could not trust him, because I'm like, you let people hurt me. You know what I mean? And we blame God for some of this stuff, but it's like, I'm at a mature state, but he gave us free will. And some people are just not saved, and some people don't even love themselves. But I'm here, right? I'm here because I want to become the change. I first want to change and become the change that I want to see. I just want people to become the change that they want to see. Yeah, this stuff is hurting. It's hurtful. Yeah. And it may happen years ago, but just think of the people and the persons that you affected their life. You infected their life, and they can't even get past a certain small situation. Like, I'm watching my daughters suffer, and I'm like, God, what is wrong with them? I'm asking God, like, what is wrong with them? Something had to happen, but nobody wants to say anything. And that's what makes me mad right there. It's like, I know something happened, but I can't say anything unless they tell me what is going on with them. And it's like, I'm not putting no seed in nobody, but I'm like, I'm convinced that God, he shows us and he gives us discernment. Stop acting like your child is not going through something that is really eating them up, and you seen them change, but you don't even want to accept it. I don't care if it's a family member. I don't care if it's somebody that you love. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. I will lose everything for mine. Like, seriously. And I will. And I'm like, God, but I trust you. But there is the devil right here, and there is the angel right here, because one side of me, I'm like, God, I ride for mine. I ride. I'm making sure. I'm like, I'm riding. Like, I'm like, I'm like, God, I give it to you. Yep. I'm being tested. I really am. And I had this whole thing in my head. And I'm like, God, I still trust you. Because, there's going to be stuff that comes up, and you have to trust me with the experience. And I still have to come with love, even though I'm hurting. This too, I was like, this too shall pass. But I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's some stuff. I'm like, God, help me process this so I'll know the words and know how to pray for certain things, because I'm like, we gotta do better as people, especially Black people, because we're hurting each other, and then we're killing each other. Like, it's like we have no win. We got this whole pandemic of the COVID, and then we have cancer, and then it's like they're trying to kill us. The government, I believe the government, they made man-made diseases, and then we have in our hoods, in our communities, our Black communities, then they're trying to kill us. Like, we're like, I don't know why. And I be asking myself, I'm like, God, why is it that bad that they don't really like us? Like, why don't they, like, what's wrong with us that we're so inferior that they just want to just take us out? And I've been asking those questions to God, like if we're royalty, and they would like we need to like we need a re-entry meeting to this world. Like I don't know, like I'm just like, God, I don't know what's going on with people, places, or things, or spirits, or whatever the case may be. But God, I ask that you just bind that thing in the name of Jesus. Like I don't even have words, but I'm like, God, give me words to pray, because we got to know how to speak to our enemies. We got to know how to speak to the deficits. We got to learn how to pray these strongholds down. We got to learn how to pray for our people, because they are hurting. They really are, and I'm convinced. I'm like, God, I don't know what you like, little old me, little old Tizzle, because that's what I say, little old Tizzle is supposed to do. But any human nature is like I can laugh about it, because I believe I have to laugh at the enemy. I really have to laugh, because he is trying everything, and it was already declared in the atmosphere that this stuff is it can't have no hold on us. But we just have to confess with our mouth to Christ Jesus. Yeah, it's bad for the soul. It's bad for the reputation, but it's good for the soul. So if you hurting people and you hurt somebody and you continue, I mean, you do it once, okay. But if you continuously keep hurting people, you have a freaking problem, and you need to you need to address that, John. Like seriously, it's real. Like this stuff is really real, because then it's like you like as a person go do something, and then now, oh, they were a good person, and they no they wasn't. Like, and that's what happens in the hood. Like people retaliate, but because it wasn't properly documented in the world's eyes, now it's like, oh, they didn't mean, they shouldn't have and it's like, come on, man. Like this stuff is real. Like you paying with people's lives. Like this stuff can't, like you can't be doing this. Like if you need help, you need to go get some help, because the wrong person gonna off you. And I'm just saying, like, and I'm not trying to be smart enough, but we gotta start thinking like, and I understand it may have happened to you. There's a lot of people who it happened to was molested or raped, like, and I was molested and raped by women, a woman and a man, you feel me? So it's like I just didn't like people. My anxiety just didn't put me in a place where I like people. I didn't trust people in general, and I didn't trust God. But I had to learn how to trust God again, so I can learn how to build my relationships back for where I'm going. And it really hurts me, because I don't feel like I'm past stuff, but I don't like to see people hurting, and I don't like to see people crying. I don't like to see people go through stuff. I'm like, I don't like to see it, because I know how it feels to go through these things. But we got to understand that the enemy is playing for keeps. He really is. He's playing for keeps, and he do not want us to win at all. You don't. So I'm going to give you an assignment, because this has to end, and it ends with people's families. Our public schools are suffering because of people who are being touched. Children are suffering. Children are bullying children because they have situations at home that they can't even talk about. And I really applaud people who take the extra mile with kids and understand them, and not just talk about them and say, oh, they dirty or this and that, because that stuff is real. Like it happened with me. Like it's like, instead of people trying to help you, they try to talk about you. Like really, I'm the type of person, I'm going to try to find out what's the need of help. Because if we really need help, then let's get help. So it's like one can chase 1,000, two can put 10,000 to flight. But if we all work together as a community, as a black people, just imagine if we all stand in the gaps for each other. The enemy really gonna be mad. Seriously, He got our people so messed up. And I know people like, oh, I was born like this. You wasn't born like nothing. You wasn't born like that, because God doesn't, he doesn't know. He doesn't make any mistakes. No, he doesn't. And I'm sorry to say this, but God doesn't make any mistakes. He doesn't with us, our identities and everything. He doesn't. He really doesn't. And I'm like, I'm not against gay people. I'm not against none of that stuff. But let's get to the root of the problem. Let's get to the root of the problem. Let's get to the root of the problem. Because all these excuses of why you are this or that, I mean, trust me, as a believer, and I'm being transparent, stuff crossed my mind all the time, but I cast it out. I was like, God, nope, this is not of you. This thought is not of you. This seed is not of you. And mentally, I am battling with this. Physically, every day I battle with this. My mind. I'm like, God, but we have to turn this into a learning lesson that our people will be healed in the name of Jesus. Like, we have to be healed because God gave us the manuscript to being healed. We have to look into the Bible and we have to build our relationship with God, because this stuff is real. We are never going to see the full fruits of anything if we can't even come together as a people and see that we are the problem. And we should now become the answer. Don't keep sugarcoating. Don't keep swiping stuff or sweeping stuff under the rug. This stuff is real. I'm hurting because people are hurting, and I can identify the hurt and the pain in people. They could tell me all day long that nothing happened, I'm looking at behaviors, and I'm reading up, and I'm like, okay, this is a narcissist. Oh, this is this people, and this is that people. I'm understanding it now. Because the more the enemy can keep the wool over your eyes, then you'll never see the goodness of God. You'll never see it. And you'll keep blaming people for stuff that is happening in your own backyard. But I take a stand. I do. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Not on my watch will I ever see another kid being molested, raped, or anything. Not on my watch. If a kid come to me and tell me that somebody is touching them, that I won't do anything about it. Not on my watch. I don't care if you have to go to jail. I don't care about none of that, because when the moment that you violated a kid or somebody and they didn't give you permission, or they're younger than you, you are a creep and you need help. You need help, like, seriously. And the problem is with this whole thing about it. And I prayed to God. I said, God, it happened, right? But how many times does it happen? And these kids are walking and they're dealing with this stuff. And we wonder why they can't focus. I remember in school, it wasn't that I couldn't learn. It wasn't that I was retarded, or it wasn't that I was dumb. I couldn't focus. I couldn't even wrap my mind around certain things. When I think back on situations of why I did the least in school just to graduate, and it's days I didn't even want to go to school. I had to push myself. Because I knew it was an accomplishment that I had to do. But I couldn't even focus. I couldn't. People try to say, oh, it's this, is that. No, I'm being very real with you. I couldn't focus. I didn't want people around me. I didn't want people in my space. I don't like affection. I don't like when people tell me I'm beautiful. I don't. Especially if I know they like me. I will push those people away. I attracted the people that I knew that would be a challenge to me, because I knew they would be standoffish. I knew that I wouldn't have to worry about, them being clingy and all this extra stuff, because I didn't like it. I don't like kissing. Like, there's a lot of stuff I don't like doing because somebody creeped into my room at night and did all those things to me. So I understand. Like, I'm the one that I will go against anybody for it. For that, I believe in. I stand tall for that. Like, I believe because I lived through it. I'm 36 years old. I'll be 37, and I had to confess to my daughter yesterday. I said, I apologize. I really apologize because I I didn't even know how to love y'all. I said I was in and out. It felt like I was in and out of my life. Like, I was there physically, but mentally I checked out. I was trying to love y'all, and I was trying to do certain things, but I couldn't. I couldn't. I didn't even know how to. I loved them. I bought them whatever they wanted. I tried to make it work. Like, I'm seriously, and I was like, I tried to give him stuff that I didn't have, to be honest with you, but I found out later that that wasn't it. You know what I mean? But I had to you know what I mean? It's like, as that onion started peeling, I started like figure, all right, is this? I would never, ever, 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 ever try to get to the surface or the core of anything, because I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to feel it. I didn't understand it. Like, why, how could it be a generation of stuff happening? And I'm like, I knew. In August, when my little cousin was born, and I was like, God, I don't know why my cousin act the way she do, but I don't want her actions to affect how I am. And I had made a conscious decision that day, because I was like, my mom isn't here. And I was like, people don't do stuff like how we do stuff. And I was like, you know what? I shouldn't allow nobody to affect how my joy and how my peace and how my love and how I do certain things and how I'm going to keep going, because I value them more than they value me. And you know what God was kind of actually, what he was saying to me? It's not that they don't value you, they don't value themselves. It's like people can't trust people because of stuff that they went through. And I understand it now. I didn't understand it because I'm like, and I, even though I was going through it, but I always let my family in. I always let people that I love in, because I wanted them, even though it hurted me and it was a lot to do for me. I always try to let them in, but I didn't let them all the way in, because I was like, if somebody hurt me again, because I'm the type of person, I'll keep walking away, but it'll keep building up as I walk away. So I learned how to dump my stuff, not dump it, but give it to God. I would give it to him and pick it back up, give it to him and pick it back up. But I said, I made another conscious decision, because that weight is too heavy for me. It was doing something to my body. So I was like, you know what, God, I'm going to actually give this to you, right? And I'm going to keep it with you. I'm not picking it up no more, because I don't like how it feels to have to go through all these motions and all this extra stuff. So God, I'm going to just give it to you. But what I'm saying to you, right? If you are a person who hurt somebody, God forgives you. The people around you may not, tell me, but give them an option to want to forgive you. And whatever the consequences are, you should just handle the consequences. Whatever they want to do, give them that option. Give them an option to heal. Seriously, because I tried to get closure from people that hurt me, and I never got it. I never really got the closure. But when I dealt with it and I was ready to really let it go, I confronted the people. And I may have not got the response that I wanted to get, but it was up to me what I was going to do at that point. And, God was like, just leave it alone, because they got to deal with that. Once I forgive, they got to deal with it. So I'm telling you, you have a great day, and God is love. Love you.